I'm here in Hoffmaster State Park with my son, my backyard. These might be pileated woodpecker holes here. They like to do kind of like rectangular style holes. We've actually seen some recently. And we're out here because we wanted to show you some trees over here. Dayton, say hi. All right, come on. Here, there's some trees over here that are planted in rows, and I don't know if these trees were planted by the CCC, but I've been told that a small portion of the park's trees were planted by the CCC, and the CCC would plant trees in rows back then because they thought they would grow best. And there are some trees over here kind of in rows, and the CCC is one of the most famous New Deal programs during the Great Depression. Yep, they're pretty tall, buddy. Wow. And so there's some trees over here that are kind of in rows, and it makes me wonder if these are some of the trees that were supposedly planted by the CCC. Now, yeah, they're not done perfectly in good rows, but there definitely are human planted up and over here. And Michigan had been a heavily forested state. My grandfather, Dayton's great-grandfather, was actually a lumberjack, and his dad had been a lumberjack, and his dad had been a lumberjack. And you see a row, buddy? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, there is. Yep, see? So you can see the rows there just going down. And yeah, and so you can kind of see this row here, and definitely planted by people. And Michigan had been one of the most heavily deforested states in the 20s and before. And so the CCC is going to employ young men during the Great Depression as part of one of FDR's New Deal programs to try to get the economy back online. Remember, one of the things that FDR does is that he inspires people to have hope during the Great Depression and to, believe that America could be born again. And the government takes on new responsibilities, new roles during the Great Depression. Things like Social Security. Before the New Deal, before the Great Depression, nobody would have ever agreed that the government's responsibility was to do things like help old people retire. But the New Deal helps change that. The government expands their roles, their responsibilities, expands during the Great Depression here. And so FDR changes the course of history. I don't know if you can see that, but there's definitely a row there. But it changes the course of history. And so,
start off of that.
What?
I just got this little stick off of there.
Okay. And so remember, well, when you study, remember FDR changes the government forever. We've never really gone backwards. The government's expanded. The New Deal makes the government larger. All these new programs, the CCC, employing young men out here to plant trees, to make public, to make trails, to make pavilions, things like that, employed. $30 a month. They only get to keep $5 a month. $25 go home to their family. They get food. There's lots of other New Deal programs to try to keep people in their homes, like the Home Owners Loan Corporation. Dayton, who was president during the Civil War?
Abraham Lincoln.
Who was the first president?
George Washington.
What president made the highways?
Eisenhower.
What president is currently in office right now, president?
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Why do you always have... Donald Trump.
Okay, all right. Who's your favorite president?
Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, that's not a bad choice. All right. Dayton, do you have anything to say to students?
Right, really?
No? Okay. All right. But
what's this sticking out of the ground?
I think it just fell that way. It just fell that way. But FDR, guys,
What is this?
I'm guessing it's fell from right up there, buddy.
No, but look how much patios are in this.
Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, and there's two together. We could figure out what kind of It's not a red pine. It's definitely not a white pine. I don't know what kind of, maybe it's a jack pine, but we can figure it out. But FDR, remember, he goes on the radio. FDR goes on the radio, fireside chats. He gives people hope. He shuts down the banks, or at least most of the banks. You can't take out all of your money out of the bank. You can still take just enough out for groceries when FDR shuts down the banks. He shuts down the banks. Called during this banking holiday, and he says, I'm only going to reopen them to full normal use if my inspectors have determined that they are in fact running as they should, following the rules, to give people confidence. Another way the New Deal gives people confidence in the banks, besides the banking holiday, is the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Guarantees people's money in the banks up to a certain amount, so that if the bank goes under, people feel safe. Hey, I'm confident that I'll get my money back. Right there, as you can kind of see the rows here, which makes me wonder if this is a CCC area that I've heard the CCC planted a few trees in this area during the Depression. Of course, the CCC is going to end, the Civilian Conservation Corps is going to end in early 1942, because the fact of the matter is they need the young boys for fighting in the war after Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941 is Pearl Harbor. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Have a good day.